If you are a multi-passionate girl boss who wants to create, write, teach, learn, connect, and take time for herself and her family and friends, you are listening to the right pod. Hi, I'm Lauren Jean, your go-to podcast resource girl and self and business development freak. I love everything related to development, as well as focusing on self-confidence, letting go of control, and following your intuition. All right, let's get down to the good stuff. Welcome back to another show. Today's show is an interview show, which I haven't been doing that much of, but I did bulk up on a bunch of interviews this past 2 months, and I'm kind of releasing them one at a time when I really feel like the time is good. And this show today is a juicy one. It's a lot of fun. It's a girl that I met on Facebook, and we just really clicked, and I loved that the way she works with her clients, and it's through journaling, something that I have struggled with consistently, and that's probably why I do this podcast, because this comes so much more naturally to me. But the way that she works with her clients in journaling, it just made sense for me to have her on, because what she says in here is just amazing. And it's what I titled the show, which is Journaling the Crazy Out with Jen. I am going to not waste any more of your time. Let's jump right into the show with Jen. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another show. I have Jen on the phone with me today, and we connected in a Facebook group when I was looking for people to interview, and she jumped right on it, and I just loved her energy, so I wanted to connect with her and bring her on the show because she's got a different way that she works with clients, and I just love it. And I'll just give you a little hint through journaling. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that today, but I'm going to let her jump in here and introduce herself and let us know exactly what she is. She is a health coach, but there's more to it than that. So Jen, I'm going to let you jump in here and just explain yourself to us.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren, for having me on today. So my name is Jen, and I'm actually a health and mindset coach. So I help women pretty much kind of change their mindset, whether it be with their health goals, their business goals, just life in general. The big part of it is a lot of women come into me and they say, Jen, I'm on this health journey, I'm doing well, I'm eating well, but something's missing. And the biggest part is their mindset. So I kind of journal, I help them through journaling. And that's kind of where it starts for them. And that's where the big changes actually shift.
All right, cool. I know when we first connected, we were trying to figure out what exactly it is that we wanted to discuss on here. And you said that journaling is a big part of it. And I like the way you explained it, where you kind of help them get the crazy out through journaling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I thought that would just be great, because I think a lot of us feel very crazy at many times during the day. So sure. Tell us how you use this tool, because it's a tool that's out there. It's a tool that people say they want to use. It's kind of thrown around, in this health and entrepreneurial world. It's everywhere these days.
Yep.
But how do you use it, and how is it something that you stick to? Is it something that you used in the past for yourself? Because I know for myself, I'm just finally getting into it, and it's been more of a blogging journey, and I keep that as a journal for myself. But as far as it goes for me, it's a hard thing to keep consistent. So I'm wondering how you're able to do that with clients.
The biggest part for me is I ask them first, what is their goal, whether it be a business goal or whether it be a health goal. And a lot of my clients these days is all about health. We are now going into the spring, going into the summer. So the biggest thing is health. And the first thing I do with them is I tell them first to buy a brand new journal, because it's a brand new slate with them. And when they choose their goal, I kind of tell them in the journal, put a very big page saying, what is your goal? And the first thing to do, especially with the journal, is why did you choose that goal? A lot of people journaling like you, it's all surface stuff. They don't really kind of dig deep down and say why they chose that goal, but that's the point of it. So when I tell my clients to journal, I don't put a time limit on them. I really want them to kind of think and kind of find the root of of why they chose a specific goal. So if someone is saying, you know, I want to lose 15 pounds because I don't like the way I look in the mirror, I say, well, where did that come from? Did somebody say something to you in the past? Was it a family member that said, you know, you need to lose a few pounds? And that's how it started for me, actually, that whole health journey and journaling is, I had my daughter in 2009, and I was at a Christmas party, and my daughter was 3 months old, and I was sitting on a chair, and my father was like, you know, can I sit down? My father is young, like he's not very old. And I said, you know, I'm tired. I'm holding my child. And he's like, you know, you really have to lose a few pounds since you just had a baby. And that's kind of where it started for me. I didn't really know what it was. And my journaling was very surface. And then the last 6-7 months, when I really kind of kicked up my health journey and really kind of made the changes, is I found the root of why I was stalling, or I found the root of why things were going that way is through journaling, but really digging deep, and things that you never kind of thought about that happened to you does affect your health journey, does affect what you choose to do in life. And so that's kind of where I start with my clients, is I really want them to dig deep and saying, I'm choosing this part of me, and why did you choose that? And so that's kind of where it starts. And I make them carry their journal with them everywhere. So when I say buy a journal, I don't want you to buy like an 8.5 by 11, like legal size kind of journal that's hard to carry with you, something you can throw in a bag. And if you have any type of idea or anxiety, write it down. And that's kind of where it goes. It's like, my journal is with me everywhere I go. On the weekends, it's in my car, in my purse. And if I have a pang of anxiety, or I feel like something's not working for me, I write it out. And I kind of think to myself, where's it coming from? And a lot of it is my past. So you're kind of forgiving your past to kind of move forward into the future kind of thing. So that's where it kind of stems from, and kind of where I take my clients every single day.
Yeah, I love that idea of keeping it with you. It's because then you really have no excuse.
Absolutely. and a lot of my clients always say to me, they're like, you know, Jen, it's really surface stuff that I write. I said, in the beginning, you're going to feel that it is surface, because not a lot of people understand with journaling, you really have to kind of dig deep. And it's like, why do I feel this way? And a lot of people say, oh, because I had a bad day at work, when really it's just something that happened that could have happened 15, 20 years ago that's still kind of bringing you down, and it's affecting you today. So and that's why a lot of people with the anxiety, I said, just start writing, because you never know what comes out. And with me, even if I'm sitting at a desk, I'll have a pang of anxiety, and that's how I got over my anxiety, was through journaling as well. Like, something comes up, I just start writing, and within that 15, 20 minutes, like, that attack slowed down and it's gone. I don't have as much attacks as I did 6-7 months ago. Like, I was having constant attacks, and writing things out and really just letting things go and forgiving yourself. I think a lot of it is you kind of forgive yourself within this process, because a lot of us, especially women, hold on to a lot. We feel that things happen because we did something wrong, or we didn't go a certain path someone tells us. Through that journaling, you forgive yourself. You forgive what happened in the past, but you really, really forgive yourself, and you see yourself in a whole new light by doing it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because I feel like getting it out onto paper, and I know because I've been part of a project last year that I was part of a co-authored book, right? Mm-hmm. And I had never done anything like that before, and I wanted to take the chance, and I did it. And I really didn't expect to get out of it what I got out of it. Yeah. And when you sit down and you block off some time to actually sit and write, and say you have a topic, mm-hmm. and you just start writing, it's amazing the shit that comes out of your head. Absolutely. And onto paper.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you something, because I'm sure, you know, you've been through a lot with this, and you've mm-hmm. actually helped yourself and clients. Have you gotten to the point where what you read makes you cry?
Almost every time.
Isn't it amazing?
It's amazing, because I'm going to be 36 this year. And so I've held on to so much crap, and to write it out and be like, I can't believe I stopped myself from doing so much from what is on this paper. And it's funny, there's a few times that I wrote in my journal, I actually ripped it out, because I felt like I was actually writing a letter to that part of my life. And the biggest thing is, one day I ripped a couple pages from that and I burned it, and it just felt so freeing. And I've told my clients, I said, if you write something and you're like, you know what, I forgive you, this is good, burn it, because that is a fresh new start. And I've had clients say to me, oh my God, Jen, I burned that letter that you told me to write, and I feel like half of the weight that's on my shoulders have been released. It's because you're forgiving that past. You're never going to forget it, but you're forgiving and saying, you know what, that happened to me for a reason. Now let me take my new light of my new self into the future, and where can I go with it? And that's the biggest thing. Is I've cried. Oh, probably every journal entry I've almost cried.
It's really crazy. It really is, because you can get so much stuff out. You really can get so many things out, because once, at least for me, once you start writing, it's hard to stop. And you really get into it, and just so many things that you don't even, in a way, you kind of forgot about, they come out.
Yes.
It's like drawing. It's just like drawing all of these past things out of your head and putting them onto paper. And then you see them, and then you're like, oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yep. Like I remember writing an entry where there was just something going on in my head, and like my workouts weren't going so well. And I always tell people, like, I can teach you how to squat. I can teach you to do all that stuff. But if you can't let whatever's internally inside of you go, I don't care how well you eat. I don't care how many hours of sleep you get. You can do everything perfect. That element will make that switch for you. And I remember something was just going on, and I wrote it out, and I had to do something with my parents. And it's like, oh my God, I was 6 when that happened. I was 6. That was 30 years ago. And when I made that discovery, I was bawling. My husband came and he's like, what is wrong? And I'm like, I just released something that happened when I was 6. And he's like, what? And I just explained it. He's like, oh my God. And ever since then, like, I see things in a different light. I see my children in a different light because of that. It's something that was holding me back has been released. And that's what I tell my clients. It's like, don't hold back, because a lot of people hold back. I have a lot of people saying, well, when I write, I don't really, I'm like, don't hold back, swear, like cuss, whatever you want to write in there, let it out, because that will just release whatever is kind of internalizing you, that's kind of keeping you weighed down. It just kind of changes your mindset, because you wake up every morning a lot happier. You wake up every morning a lot lighter when you do things like that. And yeah, that's a lot of soul bearing. And I've had people say, well, you know, I've had a journal used against me. You know, somebody found it and they used it against me because it was my true natural feelings. I'm like, that's hard. But, and I try to teach clients like that, use that as your fuel now. So write into it, use that fuel now. And you know what? Yes, that happened to you, but forgive them, but write it out, put it all out there. And a lot of people use like their computer. And I'm like, no, pen to paper. Pen to paper is the most important thing, because pen to paper, you're really flowing. You can just see your hand go, and it's mind blowing what comes out when you just kind of don't limit yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
No limitations. No limitations.
Absolutely. Yeah. The biggest thing too, as I tell my clients, is put music on that kind of gets you in the mood. So for me, it's like, I love listening to top 40, but I don't hear the words. So I put, like, when I turn on Spotify, I use like the instrumental tracks of top 40 music that kind of just like, it's like, oh, I like this song, gets me in the mood, but there's no words. So it just kind of sets my mind like, okay, start writing. And there's days where I would write for 45 minutes. Sometimes a couple entries I wrote for an hour. It's like 10, 11 pages. And you just feel so much better after it. And it just changes your mindset of, wow, I can attack tomorrow in a different way than I did today.
Yeah, because you've released all of that, everything Absolutely. That's being held in. I know I held stuff in for the longest time. I'm sure we all have, you know, yes. Let's just face it. We all have held things in, and you get to that certain point, which brings me to the next question. What brings clients to you? Because like, what makes them realize that this just might be the next step because they're just not accomplishing the goals that they want to? Or are they coming to you knowing that this is what you specialize in? Like, are they coming to you for something and they're realizing other things and they're realizing that this is a huge, important part? Or a big part of it is a lot of them come to me for the health goals, like with me counting their macros, or, you know, just trying to like easy ways to kind of get a workout in. And then they realize they have that down packed. Like, I give them their numbers and they realize like, no, I'm good in that part. And after, cause I do one-on-one calls, like face to face with them too, just to kind of see where their mind's at. And they realize, oh shoot, that's what I'm missing. Because like I said, like a lot of people that come to me, they know how to, you know, work out. They know how to sleep well. They know they have the basis of all that. They don't realize it's the mindset after we have our first 2 conversations. We're like, oh my God, that's what's been holding me back, is the mindset part. So a lot of it through that journey is just
I tweak whatever workouts they have or food that they have, but a big part of it is what is their mindset is like, how did you feel today? Why did you feel that way? What was holding you back that day? And they don't realize that is kind of their switch.
Yeah. And you're right. We know what we need to do.
Yeah.
But why are we not doing it? Why do we keep that back?
Exactly. And I have a lot of women, they said, I was doing so awesome for 6 months and then I just stopped. And I was like, well, what is it? Like, did something happen to you that you reached that 6 month point and someone said to you, why are you trying? Because it's not doing anything for you. Does that switch you off? And I had a client said, oh my God, it's a constant cycle for me. I start and I stop because I would reach a certain point, be proud, and then someone would say something to me and it brings me back. I said, journal about it. And my client was like, oh my God, Jen, and she's been going she didn't stop this time around. It was like, she would do 4 months off, 4 months on, and she's been going for 6 months straight, doing excellent, just reaching all of her goals. And it's just that she realized that's what's holding her back. And so, yeah, it's crazy how we all know what to do. It's just, what is it in our heads that kind of keeps us going back to our old us kind of thing.
Yeah. We're always against ourselves.
Yes, for sure. Especially as women, we feel like we need to nurture everybody and put everybody first. And with this process, I make them put themselves first, because I think that, because I had to learn that the hard way as well. I wasn't putting myself first, so I was actually doing a disadvantage for my family. And I tell a lot of women that if you don't put yourself first, you're putting a disadvantage to everybody that you love. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, if your mindset's not there, everybody else around you is at a disadvantage, because you want to show up as the true and best you. If you're not putting yourself first, you're not showing up like that every day.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I started doing that after I got divorced, and I just had this whole revelation where I wasn't taking care of myself. I was trying to focus on my daughter. And then I had a breakdown at work one day, and this is really where my story is I started putting it together when this happened. It's just I realized that she's happy. So what the hell am I worried about?
Yeah.
Right? Kids are happy. They just want to see you happy. And Absolutely. In the end, we want to take care of ourselves for ourselves and for our family. But ultimately, for me as a mother, I want to teach my daughter to do the same exact thing.
Absolutely.
And I do a lot of things for her with me in mind first.
Yep.
But the benefits are teaching her to take care of herself and to love herself first, because we didn't learn that when we were younger. It wasn't even something that was talked about. We probably would have been considered witches back then if we,
Absolutely. Yeah. That's how I grew up. I grew up, I was in the middle of 2 boys, and I was always taught to do well in school, but also take care of my younger brother when I came home from school, help around the house. I was never taught to take care of myself. And so having my daughter, and just like you, I had a few breakdowns at work, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And I realized I'm putting everybody else around me first. I'm putting my parents, who I don't live with anymore, their needs first before my own, which is putting a disadvantage to my family, to my small unit that I consider my family. And so I was like, screw this. I gotta put myself first. I gotta make some changes. And that's when the journaling started, and really kind of digging deep and finding out, oh my God, I'm not putting myself first and I'm putting everybody else first. So that's kind of where it all started for me. Like you, it's just being the best and true me is actually putting an advantage for my daughter, because she's like, oh, mom's happy. Mom's doing awesome. Oh my God, I can do whatever she's doing. And it's great. I love it. And so I see that with my daughter as well. And I definitely journal about that and kind of see that, being my best self is helping her for sure.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah. I love what, I've been doing lately with mine is, she has a stepmom and her dad, and they're all doing very well. And it's so funny because I've come such a long way since I broke apart from that. Mm-hmm. I started taking care of myself, and now she'll come back and tell me things that, they've talked about. And I just tell her, I'm like, I don't really care what your father says. And she just looks at me in shock. So I'm really trying to pound that into her head in a nice way. I'm not disrespecting him. We have different opinions, and that's what I'm trying to tell her. But I'm trying to get into her head that I don't need to worry about what he says.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
even though she is a kid, she's going to be 9 this year, I still want her to understand that her opinion comes first. And just because she's a kid doesn't mean that they can tell you everything to do. They shouldn't tell you how to feel. They shouldn't tell you how to do something, unless it's, I don't know, don't run into the street, that kind of thing,
Yeah, absolutely.
But, when it comes to certain things, I really believe, and a lot of parents might disagree with me, and I have a very non-traditional way of raising my daughter, and it's really helping her. I think it's going to help her in the future. So that's where that all came from, was me taking care of myself first and teaching her to do the same.
Yep.
She's very independent. She's very happy. And, it's important. And she actually does some writing too, which is great, because I'm not a big journaler, but I do write stuff down. I'm a journal junkie. I have so many journals. I have a hard time sticking to one, but she writes stuff down, and we started probably a couple of months ago, where she was really having a hard time getting things out. She never really does with me. So we went to the store and we got her a journal that has a lock on it, one of those.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
She picked it out. It was all girly and everything. So she has the key to it. And whenever she's upset or has a hard time saying something, she writes in that journal.
And locks it up
And
and keeps
she
it
even
for
says to me, because I told her, I said, this is just for you to look in it. And it had 2 keys, right?
Yeah.
So she takes one, she hides it, and she's like, Mommy, this is for you. I was like, oh, like I wanted to cry.
Sweet.
I'm
That
like,
is
I'm not
so
going to
sweet.
look in it. I said, I will never look in this. She's like, but I want to know that I trust you. I was like, oh, I'm even like tearing right now.
Yeah.
But, so I have the other key. I said, I'm going to hold on to this key just in case you lose the other one.
Oh, that's sweet. And that's excellent. Like, I started something with my daughter's actually going to be 8 this year. And we started a journal just between the 2 of us. So she would write something to me, she would tell me how her day is, and then she would put it under my pillow, and then I would write something to her. And it just strengthens the relationship, knowing that, she trusts me to tell me things. And I think that is, teaching her to be the independent, but also trust. I think with how we are today in society and social media, trust is a big thing. And I noticed with my daughter, she stopped telling me things. She just, how's school? We're fine. And I noticed that kind of trend. And I was like, hey, you know what? Let's start this. And with the journaling with my clients, I'm like, I'm going to start something with her. And it just kind of opened her up, kind of like your daughter, by giving her that journal. It opens her up of independence. It opens them up about, my mom trusts me to let me keep my feelings to myself, but I can let it out. So I think that's what's great about like you, I'm a non-traditional mom. I'm not, I let my daughter go play outside. A lot of moms nowadays like, don't let them outside by themselves. Oh my God, go outside. I trust my street. Like, I trust my neighborhood, and I trust her by telling me things. I trust her with the journal. And she even said to me, she's like, Mommy, can I have a journal with a lock? I'm like, let's go buy one. She goes, but I still want to journal with you and write you letters. And I'm like, absolutely. We will definitely go get one, because I want her to be able to release everything that she feels. I don't want her to hold anything back, kind of like what I did for the last 30 something years. I want her to be able to be happy and feel free all the time. And I love how you do that with your daughter. And yeah, my daughter's the same thing. It's just let it out. No point in holding a grudge. No point. If you're upset with me, tell me. If you don't want to tell me, write it out. Put it on paper. And it's just the change in her, and you probably see the change in your daughter as well. It's just like they feel more free and feel more independent and happy, and just like, yes, okay, I got this kind of thing.
Yeah. She definitely does. I see it. And, our daughters are pretty close in age. You said you had her in 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was born in 2008. So she's going to be 9 this May. And this is like every age is important, but as we get closer to
The preteen,
them being more independent, and oh my God, the preteens and all that stuff. Like, I just want her to be a confident, happy little girl. There's going to be obviously issues and concerns, and oh my God, hormones.
I know. I thought about that too. I'm like, oh my God.
It's coming quickly. So these are the ages to really teach them that it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to get upset. And that's why I tell her, if you feel like you need to cry, you need to cry. Because she's very emotional kid. And she doesn't hold things in. I know when she gets things out. She gets upset, I notice. She cries, and
Absolutely.
I really try to let her do that and not shame her for it. If you're going to be upset, cry. Do whatever you need to do. just get it out.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us, women nowadays being in our 30s, 40s, we don't want to cry. We don't want to be seen as emotional. And that's why a lot of my clients, I tell them to journal, because a lot of them are afraid to kind of show that emotional side outside of the home, or, being that emotional person. So I said, if you journal out and cry, you're letting it out, and you're with you, and you're taking that breath of release. And it's helped quite a few of my clients, actually. They've said to me that they're like, Jen, I've held things back. I'm so grudgy. I was so angry about life. I was so angry about everybody. And just, the last, couple of months of journaling, I just become happy. People say that I'm happy. People see a different light in my eyes. And I'm like, it's because you're letting go of shit that's been holding you back. And that's the point. And that's what I mean by digging deep and not stopping yourself when you write. And I know a lot of people, they stop themselves when that emotion comes. And it's like, that's where you're breaking the surface. That is where the changes happen, is when you feel that pain point when you're writing. That's when you don't stop. That's when you keep going. If it's going to be 45 minutes later after writing, keep going, because that's when you see the shift. That's when your internal saying, thank you. Your ego mind, by doing that, your ego mind is shutting off, and your true mind is coming in saying, you got this. You're strong, you're confident, you're dependent, you got this. And that's for me, is whenever I hear my clients say that, I cry with them when I'm talking to them face to face, because I feel so happy for them, because I know what it's like to hit that pain point, let the ego mind take over and stop myself. But when your true mind just lets you break through and the ego mind shuts off, it is life-changing, absolutely life-changing.
Yeah, it's almost like, and I've done a lot of this work through podcasting, because obviously that's what I do. Yeah. But I've been doing a lot more writing lately. But yeah, with the podcasting, it's the same kind of idea. You can speak it, you can get it out. And I've shared so much shit on the show. It's like, I don't hide anything. And
that's amazing.
To be able to get to that and to put it out into public, scary as all hell. But I'm not afraid to say anything or hide anything. Some things in my life I still keep personal, but for the most part, it's out there.
Yeah.
So just to get it out, write it out, talk it out, whatever. And you're going to get to those points where you're afraid to take that next step, right? But think about it, doing a podcast, it's terrifying, because I was doing live shows. I was doing Facebook Lives at the same time when I was in a really vulnerable spot. So I'm speaking it live at the same time I'm recording it. So there's nothing holding me back. Yeah. It's scary. Absolutely. And it's like, you don't have the time to say, oh wait, I'm not ready to say this now. No, you just go. Yeah. It's the same thing when you're journaling, but think it's easier that way, because there's no one listening to you at that point, and you can just move through it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, definitely. And when my clients say to me, they're like, Jen, I can't get past this pain point. I said, just keep writing. Like, I've had clients text me in the middle of their journaling. They're like, I'm at this pain. I'm still, and all I see is I'm at the pain point. And I'm like, all I write is keep going, keep going, because you keep going. And I think a lot of people, because there's a lot of people who are scared to get past that pain point. They're scared to see what's on the other side if they break through that pain point. I said, on that other side is your happiness, and you just got to get through that.
Yeah. It's like people say, oh, I don't have the time, or not right now. Right. That's like, they don't want to deal with it right now. I don't have time for this. Well, when are you going to have the time?
Yes.
The next time that it comes across, you're still not going to have the time for it.
Absolutely. And the biggest word is I stopped using is the word should. And I take that word. Yeah. I used to use that word all the time. And I knew that was part of my ego mind. So when I talk to my clients now, because I stopped using it, that was the word I said, you cannot use the word should in our conversation. Absolutely not. And they realize how much they use it to hold them back. And I did the same exact thing. I use the word should all the time. Oh, when I should do that, and I'll do it later. And it held me back for years. So when I took that word out of my vocabulary, I took that word out of my writing, it changes you, because you get things done and you see changes when you take that word out. Yeah. And I make my clients not use that word should in their journal at all.
It's just so limiting.
Yes,
it absolutely. Really is.
Absolutely.
It really is.
For sure.
Oh
I know you realize, you're like, oh my God, yeah, it is. It really, really is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if anything, I hope when people are listening to this, they really start to think deep and just get out a piece of paper and write shit down. Like, you know what I do a lot, which gets me to think of new ideas and things that I want to get out, is just doing a brain dump, just starting there.
Love those.
And, you know, maybe you're not a journaler, but maybe you want to start. This is how I started, is with the brain dumps. I would just write down all the shit in my head. Like, it didn't matter what it was, things that were stopping me from doing things, or little things that I didn't want to do, like things, you know, have to be an adult, like get a oil change, or get a doctor's appointment, or call for that bill that was, you know, wrong. All of that stuff, because if you're keeping that in, it's just bogging down your brain. And then
absolutely,
once you can release the stupid little things in life that, you know, might take you an hour to like get an oil change, or 10 minutes to make a phone call, these are little things that are just holding you back from the bigger and better things in your life. And that's why I like the brain dump, because it just brings out everything. And then it's like, wow, I have that and that and that. And it's like all the exciting things you can say.
Yes.
And same thing when you're writing.
Yeah.
You know, you're writing this specific idea down, and just all of these emotions are following it. And it just feels amazing. And then, like I said, to read it and then cry. Wow.
Yep. Yes. I think I've cried in the last 5 or 6 entries that I wrote. I probably cried because I'm thinking, holy crap, I've come far. Holy crap, why did I do that to myself? You just realize, you're like, we held ourselves back for so long. And it's like, now we realize, why did we do that? And it just kind of just puts you in another perspective, saying, shit, yeah, whatever that, I'm going to get my shit done. I'm going to run that 5K that I've wanted to do for 5 years or whatever. And the biggest thing is my clients are like, you know, Jen, I've always trying to like, and the 5K thing is the biggest, because of the spring and the summer coming, all my clients want to run a 5K. A lot of them want to run a 5K. And they're like, I've tried running 5K in the past and blah, 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 blah. And when they journal it out and realize they were holding themselves back from the words of should, or, you know, I get to a certain point and get too hard and I stop, they're just like, Jen, holy crap. Like, holy crap. And so, and that's what I love, is to see their transformation. And it's just writing on paper. It's not like you're doing something hard. It's literally just writing on paper, and it just changes you. And I'm so big on it. It's crazy. My husband, when I started redoing it and I was really doing, he's like, this is great. He goes, I see a difference in you, and you're just doing what you've done. But instead of just writing surface level, you're digging deep in. And I think that's the thing, is I think people have to look at what they're writing, and even go back, like reading back what you write, and then thinking, is this surface level, or is this my true emotion? And I have a lot of people like say, oh, all of that was surface. It has nothing to do with anything that's holding me back. It has nothing to do with why I'm, you know, still not getting to that point. And so when people read, so like I've had clients read their journal entries to me, and I said, that is nothing for me to hear. Like, that's all your stuff. But a lot of them, you know, have read a couple entries, and the switch within just a couple of weeks from how they used to write to how they write now, I've cried. I've cried, because it's like, holy crap, the change and the emotion. And it's like, oh my God, like some of them I heard, I'm like, you've gone through some major shit. I'm so proud of you that where you are, because of the shit that you've held back and the shit that you've gone through, it's transforming. It's absolutely transforming.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing to see people go through that. And yeah, you're right. You change the way you write because you get used to it. So in the beginning, it might sound stiff, or like you're forcing it out.
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't sound right. It's not you. But then when you actually, you know, put your heart into it, and you're doing it consistently, I would say, then I would say there's probably a difference in how you see how people are writing. And that's got to be like really, truly amazing, and probably hits them really hard. And it's just more motivation to keep going.
Yes, it is. And I always tell my clients, so I said, if you need one day off from writing, that's totally okay. Because sometimes it's the emotion in you by writing every day, it drains you. I said, you know what, I take Sundays off. Like, I never journal on a Sunday, just because I want to recharge, because it is emotional. So I've had some of my clients were like, Jen, I'm so bagged from writing this week. I'm like, take today off. Just take it off. Take Sunday off. Recharge yourself, because you're going to see major breakthroughs this week. And that might, you know, bog you down with emotion, just be bagged from it. And I totally understand, because when you let go of all this pent up anger and energy, you're tired. You're absolutely tired. So there's days like I had to take a weekend off because by Friday I was like an emotional mess because I let so much go. And so I've told my clients, I'm like, take today off. Don't write today. Just enjoy whatever you want to enjoy. Take it with you. If you feel like you need to write, take it with you. But I mean, don't do it today because you've let out so much. And it's helped a lot of people because they felt they're just like so tired. So sometimes taking a day off from it does help, kind of recharge you and kind of get you going the next day again as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It really is.
Yeah. I love it. I preach it. I preach it all the time. I preach the journal. I preach it all the time. And it just changes your mindset too. I mean, I feel that kind of, you're able to catch yourself a lot faster than you used to. Like for me is I can catch my anxiety. I still suffer from some attacks, but it used to be all the time, but I can catch it where I'm starting to feel that anxiety and I'm able to switch it off a lot faster. And that's the biggest thing with journaling too, is with my clients is they catch that emotion that they have and they're able to switch it faster. And that's that's one of the reasons why I preach it, because you're able to catch, that anger emotion or that pang of anxiety that comes up, and able to kind of change your mindset so fast because you've been doing it for so long. Like you've been doing it. So those cues of what kind of ticks you off, and you're able to kind of say, okay, what did I do to calm myself down? Perfect. I'll do that. And it just helps them out.
Yeah, it really does. You're basically retraining your brain to see these, and you can turn it off that much quicker, or you can take it out of your head, and then you know that it's a big fat lie.
Yeah, exactly.
You're telling yourself.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your intuition kicks in and it's like, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
That kind of thing where you got all these, like, I like to call it the bitch brain, thoughts coming in like, I'm not good enough. I suck. I'm horrible. I'm ugly, blah, blah, blah. And then you have like your intuition kick in and say, no, that's really not right. But it's like an instant switch on.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be one thing. Yeah. And it could be one thing that you never thought would bother you. And it just gets to you and you can feel that, why am I doing this? Is there a point? And then you're right. The intuition be like, this is why you're doing it. This is why you choose to do it. This is why you're going, and then it's like, oh yeah. Okay, let's keep going kind of thing. So
yeah, it's like you're going back to your like original goal, like what you have people write down in the beginning.
Yes. And I make them, it's funny with those goals, I make them leave it in their journal, and I make them get a sticky note and put them in their washroom right on there. So they remind themselves every single morning, every single day, every time they're in that bathroom, and it's their goal and their why goal and their why, not the surface why, but their internal why. Removing that ego and saying, why did I choose to run a 5K? Why did I choose to, lose 10 pounds? What is your why? And just have it up there, because I think it's really important if, you constantly seeing it, it kind of helps the mindset say, this is why I'm doing it. I want to do it because I want to I want to be healthier, or, I know my cholesterol is high. And it's just things like that to know their why. And again, not the surface why, like I want to look good in a bikini, and everybody wants to look good in a bikini. I mean, come on, it's almost summer, but but for me, it's like, I want to, gain muscle because I want to show my daughter what it's like to be strong. I want to feel strong. And that's what I leave on my mirrors. Why do I want to be strong? It's because I want to be able to, show my daughter that strong is beautiful. I want to be able to show my daughter that strong is, being independent is strong. And it's those little things that just keeps me going every single day. And I write about that all the time as well. A big part of it is her, but like you said, we put ourselves first, but a big part of it is having daughters. It's like, you want to show them to be independent and strong. So their first role model is always us. So what do I got to do for myself? And this is what I love to do, because I've had people say to me, because I do CrossFit and it's my sport and this is what I love. And I've had people say to me, even family members, why are you doing that? And even I had an uncle say to my husband, why do you let your wife pick up that heavy weight? My husband's like, because she wants to. Like, and that's what I love about my husband. She's like, because she wants to. And I'm like, it's because if my house is on fire and I have to run 2 kilometers with my kids that are 45 and 55 pounds, I can carry them both on my shoulders and go. That's what's being strong, right? Like, and they're shocked, because the old me would be like, yeah, I know, it's just because it's fun. Like, I would just be shy away about it. But now it's like, no, I want to do this because I'm fucking strong and I want to be strong. I want to be able to freaking lift a fucking tire, because you know what? It's going to help me and help my children, knowing that I'm not the mom sitting back. I'm doing what I want to do. And that's the point of me doing my sport. I want to do it. And that my family's like, oh my God, they're like, who is this person? It's like, yes, I held back from telling you guys for many years. But after the process, hell no. And that's what I'm teaching my kids is that, and that's definitely what you're teaching your daughter is stop holding back. You be you. And if someone has a problem with it, fuck it.
Yes.
Do what you want to do. Fuck it. Like, fuck it. Like it's crazy. And that's like, and with that sport, I have so many family members like, oh my God, like you're gaining so much muscle. I'm like, fuck yeah. Do you want me to lift you up? Because I'll lift you up. And it's that I don't give a shit mentality anymore, because this is my life. This is what makes me happy. And that's what I teach my clients is like, you're not living for them. You're living for you. Tell them this is my life. Fuck off. And a lot of a lot of my clients are like, I can't tell my family that. I'm like, oh, when that transformation comes, yes, you can. And trust me, I love my mother and father, but I've told them to fuck off. They're like, and I have clients who are like, oh my God, really? I'm like, because I'm living my life. I'm living my life to where I see my future and where I see my family's future. If they don't agree with that, they can go fuck off. And a lot of my clients are like, oh my God, you did that? I'm like, I love them. I didn't do it in hatred. I just did it in saying, this is my life. Fuck off. This is my life. And they're like, okay. Like they're like shocked. They're like, and it's not, and I said, it's out of love. I love them to death. It's out of love. And they realize now, yes, this is Jen's life. This is her life. This is her family's life. This is what they choose to do. As long as they're happy and healthy and together, that's all
what
that
else matters.
Exactly. And I have a couple clients that are almost there, but there's just, it's that little like, how do I tell them to fuck off? I'm like, you just kind of say it. You just kind of do it. When you get to the point, you'll realize you can do it. And it just comes out. My mom was like, oh my God. I'm like, yes, Mom, I told you just to fuck off. Oh my God. But she's like, I totally get it now. She's like, I understand now why you did it. And I'm like, thank you. I said, it is weird for me to say it to you because I don't ever swear at you. But at that point I had to because you weren't kind of getting it. And now you do. So we're good. She's like, yes, we're good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. I love where this conversation is going.
Yeah.
We talk about many different things, but yeah, that's what happens when you start letting your emotions out and writing about it. So tell us where we can find more about you and what you do in case people want to learn more about you.
Well, I'm really big in my group, The Endless Endeavor on Facebook. So it is bit.ly/The Endless Endeavor. My website is revamping because I did make a major shift in my business where I am focusing more on health and mindset. So the website is down, but once up and running, you can reach me at www.endlessendeavors.com. And that's pretty much where you kind of see me. I do a lot of live videos. I talk about a lot of mindset. I talk about a lot of my people in my group are like, Jen, I love eating X and what can I do to kind of have a better swap? So I do swaps. I do fun, happy little swap videos. But I do a lot of my lives are a lot about mindsets. I have a lot of my people in my group ask me questions and I like to do the live videos on that, but you'll see me mostly there. And in a couple groups, just hanging around.
Awesome. Yeah, I love groups for that, just to be able to connect with people. But yeah, I'll definitely link this stuff up in the notes. And
awesome.
Thank you so much for being here. I had a lot of fun chatting.
It was great chatting. I felt like a lot of emotion just came out through this conversation.
See? Exactly. Talk it out.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate having your ears here with me on this wonderful, wonderful podcast, if I do say so myself. Any links and resources and guests you can find at the website at thelaurengene.com. If you are interested in starting your own podcast, you can find me at Passion2Pod, and that is on Facebook. Check out the group. I would love to have you. All right, talk to you next week.